There's a storm across the valley. The clouds are rolling in. The afternoon is heavy on your shoulders. There's a truck out on the 4-lane, a mile or more away. The whining of his wheels just makes it colder.
Welcome to Community Forum. My name is Priscilla Almquist Olsen. I'm your host for this very interesting and engaging program today, March 9th, 2021. And of course, we're doing this on Zoom. And I welcome two very important people in our community who are providing a wonderful service. And I'd like to introduce you to them now. First, we have Keri and Wagner, who's a licensed mental health therapist, and Cory Ahonen, who is Easton Veterans Agent. So welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
So Keri, we're going to start with you. Tell us a little bit about your background, and then Cory, you can tell us a little bit about your background.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, so as you said, I'm a licensed mental health counselor. I'm also active in my professional association, Massachusetts Mental Health Counselors Association, where I've been secretary since 2014. I also teach workshops for my professional association as well. And I specialize in psychological trauma or post-traumatic stress disorder. So that's going to be a big lead into why we're here for Pathy Healing.
Hey, and so Cory, can you give us a little bit of your background?
Sure, yes. Thanks for having us here today. My name is Cory Ahonen, and I am the Deputy Director for Health and Community Services for the town of Easton. My main focus is on the community services end with veterans, seniors, other in need, at-risk members of the community. I was in the Air Force on active duty for just under 8 years, and I was military police in the Air Force, and that kind of led me to, coming out of the military, my own experiences and struggles and, things I excelled at coming out, kind of led me into the position I'm in now. And, I'm glad to be on the board with Pathy Healing, and I'm glad to be here today.
Okay, so you gave it away. The Pathy Healing, that's the program that you two have joined up as partners with. And so, Keri, tell us a little bit about this Pathy Healing. What's it about? Who is involved? Who should be interested in this, so that our viewers can convey this information to veterans who they think might need your services?
Yes, thank you. Yes, it's great to have Cory on board with us. Thank you. And it's great to be here with you today too, Priscilla. Thank you so much for asking us. So what Pathy Healing is a program that offers a holistic approach to cope with military trauma. So it's actually open to veterans, to current service members, and to anyone who served for any length of time, even if they don't qualify for veterans benefits. So this is a program, when I say it's a holistic program, I mean, we offer a variety of activities. It's all part of one comprehensive 10-week program that's held 3 days a week. So what are we talking about? We're talking about fun things like horsemanship, like songwriting. We're talking about Tai Chi, yoga, meditation, and yes, therapy groups. I'm a therapist, right? It had to be in there somewhere. So a lot of exciting things like that will be happening, which will help people manage their symptoms of depression, of anxiety, of post-traumatic stress. So this program is for basically military trauma. However, sometimes that doesn't always translate into post-traumatic stress or PTSD. Sometimes that translates into depression. Sometimes that translates into anxiety of other sorts. And unfortunately, if that's not treated correctly, that can then lead to alcohol, addiction to drugs, right? And unfortunately, suicide attempts. And we're trying to avoid that from happening. And also the social isolation and withdrawal that tends to happen. We're trying to help so that they can learn better ways to, first of all, figure out the way they're actually interacting with others so that they can fix that and change that if they have to. And also to understand the way others might be treating them differently. And so to have a different perspective on things and to actually understand what's going on and develop better insight. And
Okay.
that, right, that should help. That should help their family interactions and their community interactions.
Yeah, that's quite a comprehensive explanation. I don't think she left anything out, Cory. What can you add
She
to
got
that
it.
description?
I think the one thing I would add would be that, you know, this program does a great job at filling those gaps, right? So the work that I do is to administer local, state, and federal benefits and kind of make those connections to the veterans in the community that I serve, which is Easton, right? So I basically would go down the list with a veteran who comes in my office for what they are eligible for. And I usually base that off of what types of troubles they're experiencing, as to not go through, you know, an exhaustive list with them if they just need the one thing. And I've often found that, you know, we do hit sometimes we hit somewhat of a dead end when it comes to the benefits that are offered at the federal, local, and even other nonprofit level. So, you know, this program comes in key where those others may not be able to serve those certain veterans. Keri mentioned the criteria to being considered a veteran, and I believe we've talked about it on our past discussion, Priscilla. It gets a little in the weeds when you start, you know, to decipher how one served, whether they're considered a veteran by the Commonwealth, whether they're considered a veteran by the VA or the federal government. They all have different definitions. And I think, as Keri has just explained, Path to Healing's definition is if you've ever served. So that's a pretty wonderful thing where you can kind of pick up people who are the most in need, that don't have access to other benefits that are out there, that like the ones that I commonly work with.
I see. Of course, one of the most interesting aspects of the program would be the use of horses. And maybe, Keri, you could tell us a little bit about the beneficial and calming effects of horses.
Yeah, you know, it was really fascinating to me to learn more about it as I approached different programs who have horsemanship, and that's why we're collaborating. So now we're actually collaborating with 2 different horsemanship programs. So we have right now lined up for the summertime, we have Winsome Riding Academy, which actually offers horsemanship and horseback riding. And for the fall, we have lined up Wild Hearts, Horses for Heroes. So these are 2 nonprofits already who are working with us to provide horsemanship as part of our program. So the basics of horsemanship is really grooming, getting to know how to take care of a horse, but it's also a little bit more of how do you get the horse to follow you. You help, the horse basically can tell you how you're interacting with other people, because a horse responds to people's emotions. So if you're maybe anxious or angry, it's going to maybe be skittish. It's not going to act the way you want it to, and it's not going to follow you, which basically forces you to find a way to calm yourself down so that you can have the horse follow you. So for instance, through a little obstacle course and things like that, they'll actually have you have the horse come to you without using any bribes, right? No carrots, no apples. Actually get the horse to come to you because the horse wants to come to you.
That is so interesting. You know, I have been watching on Netflix the series called Heartland.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you've seen that, but it is very, it's one of those good feel series. And it takes place in Alberta, Canada, on a ranch, and horses and cattle. It's the horses that are the main characters. And I have learned a lot about the sensitivity of horses, so that if a rider is fearful, then so is the horse. And just as you said, if the person is anxious, so you're not going to get the horse to come to you. But if you're calm,
well, I'm glad the show is teaching you that. I haven't watched it yet. It's on my list, but I have not gotten to that show yet.
oh, I love it. I binge it, and I'm on season 8, and there are 13 seasons. So you can imagine all the changes, physical and emotional, of the actors themselves. It's quite interesting. I just love it. I hear your mother, Keri, has watched it and likes it.
Yes, I know.
Okay, so now, I used to live in Warwick, New York, but I lived there for 24 years and had a law practice there. And one of my friends was the late Virginia Martin, and she actually was the person who founded the horse therapy program. It's her therapy program that started on her farm in Warwick, New York, that was the genesis for all of these therapeutic writing
Wow.
programs all over the country.
That's
So,
incredible.
and in Warwick, there is a very enthusiastic and big program still for therapy in people of all ages, children, adults, and so forth. But now what we have here is it's a program that is specifically geared to veterans.
Mhm.
So in addition to the horse riding therapy, which we know is very, very effective and enjoyable for most people, you have a yoga program, and you have a yoga teacher who has joined you.
Yes, we actually have several who are in line, but but we have one right now, and is great. Alexandra Storr, she goes by Alex. She is really great. She has a trauma sensitive certification, and she has family that are veterans. So it's really great to have her on board. She's going to be a great asset to our team. And I will say both yoga and Tai Chi, they offer a lot of benefits, both in physical strength and in emotion regulation. So that's going to be really helpful in stress reduction. And songwriting is what we have coming up in the spring, March 29th. We still have a few spots left. And that's going to be a great program as well, which songwriting is really, it's just what it sounds like. It's a way to express yourself. And the person writing the song will most likely be maybe two paired up together writing a song, but they get to express whatever it is they want to express, and to whomever they feel they need to express it to. So is it something they need to express to their families? They need to express to the rest of the civilians that don't understand what they went through? Is it about readjustment? Is it about what they actually went through in combat? Whatever it is that they need to express, the songwriter, our instructor, Rich Sesserini from Southeast School of Music, he is going to help them work that out so they can develop a song together.
Okay, so one question I have is, you have so many different programs to help the veteran. Are they obligated to attend all of the programs, or can they choose?
At this point, yes, it is a very structured program, 3 days a week, and it's like that for a reason. So a lot of other programs, they're weekend retreats and they're 2 weeks long. Programs like that, like holistic programs, are usually that length. And what we purposely wanted to do was extend it for people who really weren't functioning as they had been before in maybe their employment or their family life. And it's really, the trauma is really affecting them in that way. We're hoping that this will be something that will get them out of the house and give them a variety of methods that can help them learn more about themselves and their families and communication skills, as well as help with all their symptoms, whatever it might be, whether it's depression, anxiety, PTSD, help them to manage these symptoms better. So it's also meant to give them the options so that when they're done, they can say, well, I really like yoga, or I didn't really like yoga so much, but I really like Tai Chi. Then we can give them options. Here are the Tai Chi instructors in your area. Here are the yoga instructors in your area. And then they can continue it on for themselves, with the idea that 10 weeks will be enough, that they will have practiced it long enough that they will stick to the routine.
Terrific. Okay, so Cory, I suppose that you have had experience with discussion groups, right? Maybe sitting around in a circle. And have you found that to be very effective?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you get a group of veterans together, it's, there's an instant camaraderie that kind of, comes about. And I think it's a good thing to hold group settings. I think some people, veteran or not, could feel, one-on-one could be intimidating, things like that. But yeah, no, I think it's, and to kind of go back to all the different angles of treatment, it's, you know, that part is very important, because those could be things that someone, I mean, I've never thought to sit down and write a song to, you know, help me through a difficult time or things like that. But who knows, that may be the thing that gets me out of that rut that I'm in. So I think it's important to, you know, structure it the way it is, to almost require you, like, hey, you know, go through this and give it a shot, and, you know, rule it out as something that doesn't work for you or does work great for you. It kind of goes along what, you know, the VA, this continuum of care, right? So like you know, you have a mental health problem, you treat that with a mental health solution. You have a physical problem, you treat that with a physical solution, exercise, or it kind of falls along those same lines of getting at this thing at all angles, and not just assuming one, you know, one big issue that you'll hear among veterans is over medication, or traditional, you know, modalities of treatment that just don't seem to work for them, you know, and kind of overgeneralizing there, but that is a big thing that you will hear, and programs like this kind of, you know, break away from that traditional side of treatment and offer some alternatives that could really change the way things are done.
It's so interesting because I think you mentioned camaraderie that veterans share, and I would think that being at ease and feeling as part of the group without any it wouldn't create any hesitation to contribute, to open up, to share. And I think that's so important. So having a program just for veterans who have gone through similar, you know, activities together, and exposed to certain events, negative and positive, can really help them, because opening up and sharing is so important. And I know there are women who are also veterans who also would be attracted to this program. And they open up, you know, we tend to open up a lot more than men. And so having men get together who are veterans is only going to be a win-win. Wouldn't you agree?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
so I know that what is the area of the regions that are open, that qualify to participate? Is it only people in Easton, or is there a much wider region that people can join?
It's, you know what, we haven't necessarily said it's not open to anyone. So basically, if you can get there, you can go. I mean, say you live in another state, but you have a relative that lives here and you're going to visit them for a while. I mean, by all means, join our program. But obviously, we are targeting southeastern Massachusetts, where we are based, not just Easton, but the general area, Norfolk County, Bristol County, Plymouth County, and, you know, Providence, Warwick, Rhode Island area. So, I mean, but we're not limiting it. I mean, and if people do have trouble with transportation to get there, we'll certainly help them get free transportation. I mean, I can't necessarily guarantee it in the early stages, but we're going to do whatever we can to get transportation if somebody wants to participate.
That's wonderful. So you're spreading the word beyond Easton. So it's southeastern Mass plus Providence area. And that makes sense because it's within reasonable distance to get together.
Yeah.
All right. And do you have any, Cory, do you have any other observations about why you feel this program is so beneficial to veterans?
Well, I mean, I think, you know, I think we've covered a lot, and I think the number one thing there is what I kind of stated at the beginning was the, you know, filling those areas that are just unmet needs, right, through other programs. That's probably the worst and the hardest part of my job, is kind of getting to a point with someone where there's just not the right thing for them. And this resource is another resource for myself and my fellow veteran service officers and community service providers. You know, just another tool in the toolkit to use. And it's more than just that, though. It's, you know, I think it's going to be a great thing, and we're glad to have it in Easton. I think this is the best place for that. So
I think Keri, I'd like you to speak to this. I've never heard of a program that was so inclusive of so many different mythologies. Mythologies, is that the word? No, methods. Methodologies.
We get your meaning.
to, to reach these people and to see that there are many ways to get to the goal of being stress-free. And I think it's wonderful to have given us such a comprehensive program.
Thank you. Yeah, it is unusual. And that's part of why we put it together that way, because I mean, everyone is an individual and they should be treated individually. So while this program gives a lot and we're expecting them to participate in all of it, it is with the end goal of what worked for you, what didn't. Now you've tried a lot of different things, you can stick with what worked for you. And I mean, I left out, there's a nutrition piece of the program too with the cooking demos. So not only do they get to eat the food, but simple recipes that they can take home and use. And if they're not the cook, then they can give it to someone else to cook. But they're meant to be simple so they can also take care of themselves nutritionally, because that's also important to your mental and physical health, right?
Okay, so please tell our viewing audience how to reach you so that they or people they know can sign up for this program and other deadlines.
Thank you. So yes, we can be reached at info@path2healing, MA as in Massachusetts.org, or 508-219-2904. And our website, we'll probably display on the screen, will be www.path2healingma.org. So we have our spring session starting March 29th, and there's still a few spots left. So please contact us if you're interested, or pass the word on if you know someone else who might be interested. And we'll have basically we have a program each season.
So we'll post that information at the end of this interview for the viewing audience. Okay, so good luck to both of you, and especially to the veterans. It's a wonderful program. It's so unique and obviously very needed, especially during these COVID times when there's added stress. So good luck, best of everything, and thank you for joining me today on Community Forum. All the best.
Thank you,
That's it
Priscilla.
for today. You're welcome. So I hope the viewing audience has enjoyed this program as much as we have presenting it. Until next time, stay well, all the best.